Hi, guys.
That's ready.
All righty.
They're ready, bud.
They're ready? I call the regular meeting of the Milliken Board of Trustees of Wednesday, June 13th, 2018 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the town clerk please call for the roll?
Yes, Mayor. Trustee Smith?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Here.
Mayor Woodcock?
Here.
Trustee Wakeman?
Here.
Trustee Ehrlich?
Here.
Trustee Trailer?
Here.
Where's your microphones?
Trustee Katie Burek is absent.
Thank you.
Agenda approval. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, we have an addition to the information agenda and announcement.
Oh, yes, I have that. I'd like to announce a town event to add to it.
Okay.
And where would you like that place? Information.
Anything else? I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the agenda with the amendment.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to the citizens' comments. Citizens' comment is the point in the meeting where the public is invited to address the town board on items that do not appear on the agenda. All comments should be directed to the town board. There is a limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Please come to the podium, state your name and your address.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Mellenbacher. I live at 1498 South Irene Avenue. I am coming to you guys tonight in order to express our concern. We live at the end of a street. There's two houses at the very end of our road at South Irene Avenue. And there are 5 empty lots, 4 of which is owned by Lot Holdings, and according to my sources, the corner lot is owned by the town of Milliken. I have had, I guess I'm constantly reaching out to Lori Ehrlich, who is the code enforcement officer, in order to get her help in getting a hold of Lot Holdings to maintain this property. You know, we are held to a certain standard with our HOA to keep the weeds at a really, at a minimum height, so on and so forth. And it has just gotten out of control. So I have some images that I'd like to show you in regards to this property. Okay. Anyways, as well as some dialogue that I have had with Lori back and forth in regards to this. Mind you, Lori has been my go-to person and has always been very respectful and so helpful in getting these taken care of. But at the same time, it's sad as a citizen that I have to go to the extent to constantly reach out to the authorities to get my help in getting this taken care of. Not only is it an eyesore, so to speak, but I mean, it is a fire hazard. Cheat grass was like over a foot tall in all of these lots, and you see all of the fire danger that we're having. All it would take is a piece of glass or a cigarette or whatever that gets thrown out on this property, and our home could be in danger. So I have these images to show you. This is a picture I took right off of South Irene Avenue. This kind of dark reddish fence is our property. These are weeds easily over my height. I am 5'6". I don't know if I can go. I have to go back out. This is a picture of the weeds right along our fence line, and I mean it's easily way over a foot tall, and it has been this way all spring. Now, I did reach out to Lori back, and I can tell you. I think last week, and said, hey, this is getting out of control. Can I get your help She said she put in a call to John Hall in regards to this, and lo and behold, Monday, the weeds were trimmed. Now, they do a kind of a mediocre job when they do mow. This is the back corner. They missed all of that. And I feel that they do that because there's trash everywhere. People dump trash in this corner next to our home. You have old soccer balls and like these coolers, and there's just junk everywhere. This is a Word document that I just posted some of our discussion that I have had with Lori since last summer in 2017. I say, I always hate to email you regarding these empty lots next to our home. The weeds are getting tall, and it just goes on. And say, I did reach out to the HOA regarding this matter because, you know, it's not fair as to myself as well as the neighborhood that, you know, they are held to a different set of standards. And unfortunately, all they can do is either write a note or, you know, send them a fine. And of course, they'll pay a fine, you know. That's small potatoes to them. Anyways, I'd be happy to leave you this information and this dialogue so you guys have it for your records as well as these pictures. But it's just so frustrating as, you know, we're small in the community. We're the little people. And I guess I'm coming to you tonight because I want to feel like we are being heard. You know, Hollerwin plays a huge part in this entire town, and I get that. But, you know, come election time, he is but one vote. Our entire neighborhood has 100, 200 homes in there. And we want to feel like our concerns are being met and that we are being listened to. Because I should not have to go to the extent, I mean, I've made several phone calls to Hollerwin and not a single phone call back. They don't even answer the phone. I make a phone call or an email to Lori, I get a response that day.
Are you talking to somebody or leaving a message with somebody in particular at Hollerwin, or is it a general phone number?
I have tried the general phone number, Brett Hall, John Hall, and this was like last summer when I was reaching out to him, and then understanding that I don't get anywhere. And so unfortunately, Lori probably knows me by name now, and according to these emails, I'm like, oh, hey, it's me again. I'm sure you already know what this email is about. You know, we're talking about the weeds again. And then sure enough, she says back on May 31st, I spoke with John Hall today. The mowing took place this Monday on the 11th. But I guess I would also like to see if after they mow, could they at least maybe spray the weeds so that way, you know, it kind of minimizes the amount of, or limits the amount of time that they have to constantly come out there. Because they came out, I think, twice last year. And during the winter time, that property isn't touched. The sidewalks are never cleared of snow, ever. Since we have lived there for now, going on 3-4 years now, never once has those sidewalks been taken care of. Not that people come all the way down there to our two houses, but that's not the point.
So you're looking for the trash to be cleared out of the lot, the edging to be cut down completely, and weed spray?
Preferably.
Three things.
Yeah, I want them to be held to the same standards as the rest of us in the community. You know, the HOA will send us a letter if our trash can happens to be out on Sunday afternoon. Or, you know, if our weeds get certain, you know, height. But here I showed you pictures of weeds well above my height, and not a thing happens until I personally make an email to Lori and she gets the job done. If I didn't have her, this wouldn't get done. And it's not fair to her, you know, to always be hearing from me also.
I'm new here. Where's the lot you said the town owns?
It's on the corner.
So on the corner of this, yeah. So when you pull into South Irene Avenue into the Centennial Farm subdivision, it would be that empty corner lot, and then there's 4 lots up until our property that is lot holdings.
And they are in the HOA, and
From my understanding that they would be, yeah. Because no one can build on that property because there is an oil holding tank that is still currently active. And so, I mean, you guys shaking your head so you guys don't understand. And I've asked, could it be a green space? Could it be, could it be something that maybe the community could utilize until that oil facility has gone over? And I know I'm probably over my 3 minutes, but
It's all right.
I'm just a little passionate about this since it's been a couple of years that I've dealt with it.
Understood.
Yes.
Thank you for coming down.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I can take this flash drive from you, and then I could email you all of this information.
Did you sign your name on the?
I did, and I
Okay,
left you my phone number.
Thank you.
You can just email it to Cheryl and she'll just.
You got it.
So,
Thank you.
Nice red door on your house.
I guess my husband was on.
is there any other citizens' comments? No? All right. Moving on. Minutes of the previous meeting. No problem. Is there any discussion or comments on the minutes? If acceptable, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of May 23rd, 2018 Board of Trustees meeting.
Well,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda. Oh, wait, I gotta do the town administrator's report. Yeah, I keep jumping them. You got the town administrator's report?
Just one quick thing, Mayor. We're waiting anxiously for the contract from the state for the RO plant. We submitted it about 10 days ago. Governor was supposed to sign it, get back to us within 7 days. So any day now, we should get that contract. Once we have it, we can give the contractor the go-ahead to get started on the equipment to handle the brine water at the RO plant. And the way it looks now, it's probably going to be February before that gets done. But it's getting closer every day.
Good to go.
when you say February before it's done, does that mean up and running?
Yes. Be ready for the summer season, yeah.
Anything else? Any other questions for the town administrator? No? All right, now, moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any changes to the consent agenda? None, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
Town clerk, do a vote.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Trailer? Yes. Trustee Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes. Action agenda. So, action agenda, item A, public hearing for the amendment to the 2015.
You missed something?
What did I miss? Went from consent
The
to action.
municipal jail services?
That was on the consent.
Yeah, we approved that.
We just approved it.
Okay.
You'll get there, don't worry.
Action agenda, item A,
Oh, yes.
public hearing for amendment to the 2015 Comprehensive Master Plan, Framework Plan, MAP. Amend the build-out capacity table and ratify Resolution 18 TAC 25. The time is 6:44. I'm going to open the public hearing, and I believe Pepper is going to give us the download on it.
Mayor Woodcock and members of the Board of Trustees, before you tonight is consideration of amending a small portion of the Comprehensive Plan Framework Map. The area, I don't know if we can get an exhibit up there, but if you look at your map, this area is off of 257, and it is south of County Road 52. When the plan was done, there was a significant area that was included for green space. And it's staff's opinion that it was an inadvertent map error, that green space was extended above the bluffs and included current agricultural and residential land. The land that's involved includes 2 minor subdivision lots as well as another large parcel of land. And the staff is recommending that we amend that area. It's approximately 80 acres to change it from green space to residential. Again, this is land use, this is not zoning. This is out of our comprehensive land use plan. It will not affect the zoning on the property. The zoning will remain the same, which is currently agricultural estates. So there's 2 areas of the plan that we are asking to amend. One would be the map itself, and the other one is the build-out capacity table. It would take that 80 acres out of the green space and add it to the residential acreage. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. The Planning and Zoning Commission did hear this. I should mention that. They forwarded a due pass recommendation to you.
So you think this was an error on the map that was done at the time?
I do, because the area below it is floodplain area, and I think it just got carried too far north.
Questions?
No questions.
Do you have any questions? Comments? No? Any public comment?
This was extended
Top.
off the bluffs and then category 52.
Lois, can you come to the podium real quick, Lois? Can you go to the podium real quick for me, please? And just state your name.
Lois Onamato, 340 Heidi Lane. And no, I was just wondering, I was worried about the bluffs, somebody building in the bluffs up there. And we finally have deer in there again. I've seen, the other day there was 8, deer, and 3 on the bluffs. And there was, grazing. And then since then, I sit there and park until I see them. But anyway, there's been deer. And I just like that. And I didn't want anything built in it.
Okay.
What time of the day do you see them, Loisanne?
Usually about 9 o'clock or before, and then in the evening,
So, early and late.
Good to know deer season's coming up.
You could get hurt.
Yeah, I know. All right. There's no more citizens' comment then? All right. It's 6:48. I'm going to close the public hearing. Ready for a motion?
Discussion.
You want some more discussion?
I have a question.
Go for it.
So, did you just catch this yourself, or is someone asking us to make this change, or how did it come about?
This did come about as a result of, Trustee Wakeman, this came about as a result of some conversations about some pending development in the area. And in looking at it, again, it makes no sense to have green space. This is in the area of the pumpkin patch, which clearly is not in floodplain, clearly is not greenway, wouldn't be used as greenway, so it didn't make any sense that that map was delineated that way. And again, that's looking at it, I thought, well, whoever drew it just drew it too far north. So I discussed this with staff and with administration, and we thought it would be best if town initiated a change.
So I didn't see the map clearly. Is it adjacent to other residential?
It's right across
Zone.
257 from the Mad Russian,
Yeah, it's
and a little bit.
just north of the oil field
Just
road.
north.
Snyder's property.
Yeah,
Where the pumpkin patch is.
around the house.
To the ditch.
To the ditch?
You know where Sparrow turns in his, top of the hill?
Right there.
Where Solder used to be,
So,
the old Solder property.
yeah.
Goes,
So from Stroh's, what was the lane?
goes to the north.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay, gotcha, yeah. All
I'm
right.
talking over your head now. You guys haven't been around long enough to know that.
No, I haven't.
Any other discussion?
Thank
Questions?
you.
You're welcome.
I'll take a motion.
I move to approve the changes and adoption of Resolution 18-25.
I second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Wakeman?
Yes?
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Trustee Ehrlich?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Trailer?
Yes.
Excuse me.
What?
Did you include the resolution 1825 in that motion?
Yes, he did.
I did.
Mayor Wilcoxen, excuse me, Mayor Pro Tem Austin for calling trustee Austin. Are you
They're
going
the
to take a
same.
while?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed.
Alrighty. Action agenda. Item A. At this time, the town board will convene. It's 6:51 as the liquor licensing authority for the town. This is for the following action item, the town board, it's the tavern liquor license renewal for the Alibi. Two presenting this one is going to be Cheryl Paul, town clerk, and Chief Garcia.
I'll just speak really quick in regard to my part of the whole thing, but you can go ahead. Mayor and trustees, Jeff Gregory, as you can see by my agenda memo, has submitted a renewal application for his tavern liquor license. He's paid all the required fees that are due in order to do this. It is a little tardy in getting to me. The application should have been to me probably in April, but from my conversations with Mr. Gregory, he had been going through some surgeries during that time. Anyway, we do now have it. In the agenda memo, I do address what we always go through is any police reports or action I always request from the police department in regards to any liquor facility. And so that's what Benny will speak on.
Mayor, members of the board, so in your packet, I did submit a letter to you regarding our concerns for the Alibi. And those concerns are concerns for over-serving the bar patrons. We do have about 5 reports that we can confirm DUI arrests that did come from the Alibi. So that is our concern. One of the concerns that I would like to see some corrective action for the police department and for the bar is to have their bartenders have the staff tip certified through the state of Colorado. Part of the tips certification is to identify when somebody is intoxicated, not serve them, being able to know when somebody's intoxicated and understand the laws of serving somebody that's intoxicated. The biggest concern for us is obviously the safety of our community, the safety of, families, kids, you name it, anybody that can be on the street when a drunk driver's out there. So that is our biggest concern.
I have a
Yes.
concern that we don't have the bar owner here today to address our concerns. I know that when I read the report, I was seriously concerned by activities at the Alibi. And under no circumstances do I want to put our citizens at risk. I did a little research, and there are 2 bars in Johnstown, Veterans Brothers and Cassidy's, And in the past 12 months, comparatively, they have had less than 4 calls for service, whereas the Alibi has had 14. So that's my first concern. I asked Johnstown how they got their over-serving problems under control. And I know, we all duck. He was pretty informative. It was Commander Sanchez that I spoke to, and 3 times a year at least he brings in the state, and a flyer goes out to all of the bar owners. They sign they received it. They come in for a session at which the state talks about their program. Then they also bring in liquor enforcement several times a year to do sting operations. Commander Sanchez was quite accommodating. He said that he would, have no problem inviting the Alibi to attend the sessions that they put on, and also probably have us participate in those sting operations. But there's more than just that.
Mayor, I just want to clarify a couple items before we go too far. And Mayor Pro Tem Austin, as far as calls for service, don't always look at those as a bad thing. Sometimes patrons will come into a bar that have been into another bar, and they're already intoxicated. And it's up to that bar owner or an employee there to call for the police department. So those would be added into those calls for service.
Correct.
And so that's not always a bad thing. There's been some establishments with far more calls for service per year than that. As far as liquor enforcement and sting operations, liquor enforcement does that on their own. You never know when they're going to be there.
Right.
And so then if they find anything that is in violation, they report it to not only myself, but they'll report it to Chief Garcia. Doesn't mean that everything that happens is always going to be caught, because there may not be somebody there
Right.
at that time.
But I think Johnstown is being a little bit more proactive in their stance with their bars. Something here seems to be wrong. And, in one of the instances that's being reported to us is a patron coming out of the bar at 4 o'clock in the morning, visibly intoxicated, when the bar closes at 2 o'clock. So I can't imagine exactly what's going on for this to be taking place.
And I think,
Respond to that one.
I think Mr. Gregory, I think it is Mr. Gregory.
Can
I
I
know.
interrupt for a minute, though?
Yeah.
Because procedurally, this authority has the option to approve the renewal application, or set it for a public hearing to show cause why the license shouldn't be renewed. And so to hear evidence now, if this authority is likely to consider holding a public hearing on the renewal application, would be inappropriate, because you'll be hearing the evidence twice in a quasi-judicial public hearing setting. So I think for purposes of this renewal, since the applicant isn't here, I don't want to get into evidence of reasons why the authority could consider non-renewal as an option, and there has to be good cause, which is defined under the state statute. And we haven't provided any of that information. We haven't posted the licensed premises, which we would be obligated to do. So I think if the board, the authority, has legitimate concerns about the operation of this licensed establishment, it should direct staff to publish and notice a public hearing, and at which time the applicant would be required to attend.
And he was invited, he was asked. I did let him know that this was taking place this evening, that his renewal was coming before the board, and he asked me if I thought he should be there, and I said I always recommend that they attend. So,
Well,
What's the current expiration of his license?
it was May 10th.
It's already expired, but under the state law, they licensees are still authorized to operate while a renewal application is pending.
So if we were to continue it to a public hearing,
Correct,
he'd still operate.
correct.
Okay.
So, you said we have to post it on the building?
We have to post
30
it.
days, or?
It's 10 days on the premises and 10 days notice to the applicant.
So 20 days before we can hold a public hearing?
10
No,
concurrently.
10.
So
Next meeting?
you could probably have a public hearing at the next meeting,
Well,
assuming,
we'd also have to notice it in the newspaper
no,
on that one, no?
just says 10 days on the premises and 10 days notice to the licensee.
Could we just continue the item without a public hearing, or do we have to call a public hearing in order to?
You know, I guess my recommendation is if there's any concerns about,
Gives the public a chance to step in and say anything, this way we're advertising.
and
it.
gives the applicant the right to present evidence in support of renewal.
So,
And I think that's really what this authority
the public
is
hearing is the way to go.
interested in hearing. And he will continue to operate until the authority makes a decision. It's an option. Yeah, and he could even be represented by an attorney.
I move that we continue this item to a date that is the soonest possible date, practical for staff to make notice and post notice, which I think I'm understanding would be 2 weeks from tonight. Is that correct? Can we get it done by then?
For the next meeting,
Yeah,
for a public hearing.
for a public hearing.
For a public hearing.
Yeah, not a continuous, a public hearing. We're still, can we make the motion?
Yeah, we can make a motion
in the-
Oh, we're in a
the-
public hearing, sorry.
Yeah.
So I need some more clarification. So if we're going to hold a public hearing, are we saying that there's a chance that we may not renew his license?
That is
We're having a public hearing?
That is completely up to the board's authority's discretion. You can approve it with conditions, or you can deny it.
We can approve of the conditions tonight also. Like probationary period, if we have issues within the next 3 months.
But that comes to the evidence issue of,
Yeah.
and the public
Because
hearing.
right
Right.
now, we don't have evidence
Right.
that there's been any violations that could cause him to lose his license. Am I correct? So why are we holding a public hearing if we have no evidence?
I'm not sure. That's up to,
Wouldn't that
it's up to
bring
them. What I will say is this. The letter that I did submit is just some concerns that we have with the police department. However, if you look at the report that I submitted, there was only one violation, that we submitted. I think it was just a call for service, or, I'm sorry, an arrest at that location, so which was one. But as far as any violations of liquor violations, liquor establishment violations, there were 0. So what I submitted was just my concerns and some recommendations, which you have on your report, recommendations from me submitting that, and I submitted my recommendations. So that was pretty much it. But there were zero violations.
But you've got 5 DUIs attributable to service at the Alibi.
Yes.
In 1 year?
However,
Yeah,
not on the premises.
but they were leaving that establishment. So again, that comes back to evidence, basically by stating that there was 5 DUIs that are actually related to coming from it. So that goes back to having a public hearing to move forward on it.
And at that time, the authority can impose conditions based on the evidence it hears.
Well, I thought the evidence was submitted in the report here, so.
But, all right, we can we vote on this as the liquor authority, right, to move it?
Correct.
Yeah, so we can take your motion.
Thank you.
Okay? That's all I have.
Any other questions, any other discussions? You want to repeat your motion, please?
Does 2 weeks give you enough time to post, notify, take care of all the
Staff side.
staff business that needs to be taken care of?
I can certainly do that in the 2 weeks, but just to make you aware, I will not be at the next board meeting. So if there was any questions you needed from me, I won't be here.
Neither will I. But I can have
Oh.
somebody, I can have a representative, so.
I will not be at the next board meeting
You got a
either.
puzzled look on your face, Tom.
So-
No, because-
We're getting the right information out of you.
Out of me?
Yeah.
You'll always get the right information out of me. No, my suggestion is if there are concerns about the renewal, that we set it for a public hearing. That doesn't mean you, the authority, will deny the renewal. It just means that you're going to hear evidence. And if staff believes there is some evidence or concern about approving an application for renewal and referring it up to the authority, then the proper procedure would be to notice it for a public hearing. It does not necessarily mean that you are going to deny the renewal. It means you're going to be allowed to hear more information, and the licensee has an opportunity to rebut that and present its own evidence.
And
That's all we're
obviously-
doing.
Obviously, there's enough concern in the aspect that
Yes.
it could have been staff-wise, but they kicked it to us. And we also had the chief of police write his concerns down.
This could have been done as an administrative renewal, and this board would not have seen it.
So I would,
That's all I'm saying. I would say the motion should remain that it be at the next available,
well, if you're not going to be here,
Date.
then she's not going to be here. It's
and we
not-
need to confirm with the applicant and make sure they're available as well.
So put it at the second meeting almost.
So first meeting in July?
Yeah.
Second week in July.
He can
It's
still
the 4th
operate,
of
he can
July.
still, he can still
can still
operate, he can still
operate.
make money.
I mean,
And it gives him time to get his ducks in a line too. So. what do you
I
think?
don't think I'll be here
All right. Got a motion?
Can I second that, or have
Well,
you done the motion?
She hasn't set a date
Okay.
yet.
Set a date.
Since the date of our one reading.
What's,
See, the 4th is Wednesday.
Yes.
Is that the second meeting in July?
is it second meeting in
Or
July?
the first meeting in
First meeting.
July?
First is
Okay.
the 4th.
then. Just say first meeting.
First meeting, is that, no.
No, we're
July
second.
11th.
Second Wednesday.
Second Wednesday.
July 11th.
I move that we schedule this item for a public hearing and invite the applicant to be present and continue the item for action by the board to July 11th.
I second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Yes, Mayor. Trustee Trailer,
Yes.
Trustee Wakeman,
Yes?
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Ehrlich,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Austin,
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock.
Yes. Time is 7:09. We're going to adjourn as the liquor licensing authority and go back as the town board. 7:09.
Yeah, I got a question. Do you guys understand when we adjourn from town board and go into a licensing authority? What our duties are? You new people?
No.
I've been
Think we
reading
should-
on
We
it.
cover that in a work session?
I don't think we have. Might be a good
Linda?
idea.
We can.
Crash
We
course.
did some abbreviated training, but we should.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess the next thing on the list is informational.
That's me. So I just wanted to bring up an event that's happening. It's a nonprofit event. It's called Sowers of Seeds. It brings the community together in providing fresh vegetables and fruits to our local food pantries and to our senior centers. And it's the way you contribute is you grow it on your front porch and do the watering, And then we come around and do the harvesting and fertilizing. And last year, we just started it just to see what would happen, and we ended up donating 2,000 pounds of vegetables to the senior centers here and the senior center in Highland Park, and also the Milliken Food Pantry and the Johnstown Food Pantry. So the event is coming up this Saturday, June 16th, right over there in the parking lot. And it starts at 8 a.m. and goes till noon. I think that's all.
What is the event?
It's called Sowers of Seeds.
No, but
Oh, what happens?
Yeah.
That's where we have the starter plants already done, and they're going to be putting them into the larger pots, and you take them home with you. Basically,
this Saturday.
this Saturday, 8 a.m.
What kind of vegetables?
There'll be tomatoes and peppers. We tried zucchini last year, and it wasn't worth it because we have people grow them out of their gardens and donate those. So.
All right. Anything else? Anyone? I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.